Mr. Ravi Gupta, and all the distinguished guests. So on this platform of Elets, so since very beginning I have my domain has been urban mobility. So I thought, so I'll give my presentation on urban mobility only. So how this is going to affect the governance systems and what is going to be in near future. When we talk about urban mobility, whatsoever current theme is in progress, whatsoever is there right now, what we are talking about. So, see, artificial intelligence is an umbrella term. It has so many technologies, it has so many theories, it has so many processes that we cannot cover the applications of artificial intelligence in such a small lecture. So I have decided that we are going to focus on two things which are very relevant today and which are having lot of applications in coming future. The one is the machine learning and another is big data. Big data, regarding which the Prime Minister has been talking about a lot, that this is the need for the country, that we are having upper hand for this. So to make this artificial intelligence in urban mobility, to make this topic simple, we will start it with the example, and my example will be such that you can connect it with. So although machine learning, to understand the process of machine learning is very tough, but when I tell you as per example, it will become easy. So you have heard about driverless cars. So this is a new phenomena. Okay, what is the driverless car? How it is going to operate? Right now it has not been launched in India, but most probably very soon a driverless car will come to India. And it is going to be a landmark revolution in reference to the urban mobility. So driverless car, it is based on the machine learning. So we will understand the process of machine learning, and then we will understand, side by side, we will understand that how a driverless car is going to operate. So normally, up to now, when we give a command to a computer, so the computer gives you result or it gives you outcome as per as you give the command. If you are working in Excel, you are working in somewhere, you just apply a formula, and according to that formula, the computer always applies that formula, and according to that formula, computer will give you the result. You do anything, it will work according to the pre-installed instructions which are given in the software. You write something in the software, you write something in their language, and in that language, whatsoever instructions are there, the computer is going to follow that and it will act according to that. Now machine learning says this thing, that the computer will learn not from the instruction which a user will give. It will learn by itself. So suppose that there is a driverless car. So normally a person thinks that a driverless car is having lot of cameras, lot of sensors. So when a car is moving, so the camera, the sensor, it tells the computer that okay, there is a roadblock, so you speed apna kam kar lijiye. So the car will slow down. But no, when we come for the machine learning, this slowing down in a roadblock, it will develop a pattern, so that whensoever, suppose that a car is going on a road every day, and every day there is a roadblock or there is a gadda. So whensoever car is going there, it is slowing down. After slowing down, then what happens? Slowly the car will learn it will not use the sensor, it will not use the extra energy, it will automatically slow down because a pattern has been developed and the machine has learned this thing. So this thing is called the adaptive learning. This adaptive learning is found in humans only, because the expert drivers, if you ask the expert drivers, they know each and everything that, okay sir, if you will go by this road, there will be a jam, because they know this thing by adaptation, कि हम यहाँ से जाते हैं, इस रास्ते से जाते हैं तो जाम मिलता है, इस रास्ते से जाते हैं तो जाम नहीं मिलता है, तो एक्सपर्ट ड्राइवर जिस रास्ते से जाम नहीं मिलता है उधर से लेके जाएगा. बट द ड्राइवरलेस कार विल अडॉप्ट इटसेल्फ अकॉर्डिंग टू द कंडीशंस which it will come to it. So now which pattern it will identify? It can identify the patterns which are at subconscious level of the human beings. For example, suppose that, see, if you earlier, the computer program, you can ask a computer that, okay, if your sensor sees that the right side of indicator is blinking, the vehicle will turn into right. If left is blinking, it may turn into left. But in actual practice, many people give an indicator of right and they turn into left, or they don't give an indicator and all of a sudden they turn. This happens. Now a machine learning enables a driverless car to identify these patterns, because when a person giving a right indicator turns into left, it is done due to the subconscious state of mind, or if he absent-mindedness. Now these patterns will also be understood and learned by a system. That is the process of machine learning by which a driverless car will work in future. So this can unconscious pattern by a human being. It can learn the unconscious pattern of an animal. It can learn the unconscious pattern of weather. It can learn the unconscious pattern of any another machine even. So what I told you, the driverless car, they teach themselves. Now what happens when, suppose that there are 20 driverless cars in Chandigarh. Suppose that we imagine a scenario. Now these driverless cars, whatsoever one car is learning, it is sharing its experience to 19 others. So every car is learning from each other. So the collective intelligence of one car in one day of driving is equal to 20 cars in one day. So, and they adapt also. So therefore their efficiency level rises up. The second thing I have already explained, that it can lead to the predictions, because once you see unconscious changes, and after unconscious changes there will be patterns, and that patterns will become a rule in certain course of time. So what happens, suppose that, although this is not written in the slide, suppose that you are having a driver, which normally you classify that he is an expert driver, he is not an expert driver. How do you classify a person as an expert driver? You ask a person that he is an expert driver only then when he has got 20 years of driving experience. Okay, he has gone to Shimla, he has gone to Leh Ladakh. Okay, he has got a capacity to drive a small car, big car, even truck. So that person becomes an experienced driver. Now that experienced driver has got experience of only himself. He has not got experience of another drivers. Now these driverless cars will have experience of all other drivers. The second thing is this, any expert driver, when he will pass away, he is not going to transfer his experience to another driver, because whatsoever it is in his brain, it dies with him. Now in a driverless car, suppose that a driverless car has operated for 10 years, and after 10 years the driverless car is condemned and you purchase a new driverless car. Now you take the memory chip of your old car and you install it into the new car. Now, when the new car will run on the road, so the first year will be not its first year, but it will be the 11th year, because it is already having 10 years experience as a. So whole memory, collective memory of its own as well as of other cars will come slowly, as well as the time will pass, every driverless car will become more and more and more intelligent and more precise, and the chances of the accidents or mishaps will reduce slowly. So these are going to, these things in urban mobility. So these are the, now how it relates with the government or the governance, that will come into the another slide. So one thing you understand, that once a driverless car is there, after a certain course of time, it will become more intelligent, and after many years, it will 100% it is going to replace a human driver, because it will be having so much of experience that a human driver cannot have. Now, machine learning or these experiences, they are based on the big data, what the Prime Minister Modi speaks of big data. So to understand the big data, so this big data has to be used into this machine learning process. So big data, normally we consider it is as a massive data. We say that enormous amount of data is called the big data. Now this thing is characterized by 5 V's. If you see any internet website, they will tell you that how these 5 V's are classified. Now first thing is variety, that is type of data, sources and formats. Now types of data, suppose that we take one domain only, we talk about urban mobility only. So urban mobility, nowadays, if you talk about any expert who is expert on transport literature, so he may tell you the data regarding the traffic volume, or he may tell you the data regarding the road length or the condition of the road. Besides this, the person who is dealing in the transport is not going to tell you anything. Now a transport literature, when you talk about urban mobility, it depends upon many things. It may have data of weather. If you are passing through a jungle, the data of animal, how much animal population is there, that is also required. How many times they pass the road, that is also required. So many data are required. So variety, how many types of data are existing in the system, these are part of the big data. So variety of data. Second thing is the volume of data. Earlier, when the computerization started, only few data were collected online. Majority of data was collected offline, and then it was manually entered, at least in the government systems. Now, majority of data is collected online, and the biggest source of online data collection is your mobile phone. So you carry it everywhere. So when the person is mobile, you are having urban mobility, your all data is collected, at where you are going, with whom you are meeting, how much time you have spent, it will all come upon the mobility data itself. So normally, because of the online internet revolution, IT revolution, we consider this thing that the volume of data is now doubling every 2 years, and this is the rate on which the data is created daily. Now, third thing is that what is the velocity of the data? Big data has to be, earlier the data was collected slowly. Once in a month, there were many things for which an entry was made once in a month, or twice in a month, or once in a week. Now the data is collected very fast. For example, suppose that you launch a new website for new service, and all of a sudden someone says that okay boss, the services are hanged now because so many people logged. Now so many people logged, server was not having that capacity, so because of the velocity of thing, the data, your server crashed or whatsoever thing has happened. So this comes the new thing that big data is having a character that it is having velocity. Now fourth thing is that veracity, that quality of data. Now there are many things in data collection that may be wrong, or suppose that there is a fake news. Now fake news, whether a fake news can be part of NCRB data. Suppose that some person says that कि okay यहाँ पे तो बहुत जाम लगा हुआ है, उसने कहीं पे डाटा कहीं पे एंट्री कर दी कि there is lot of जाम, या उसने ये कह दिया कि लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन खराब है, किसी का मर्डर हो गया, ये हो गया, वो हो गया, बाद में पता चलता है कि फेक न्यूज़ है. नाउ वेदर NCRB विल कलेक्ट दैट डेटा और नॉट. सो डेटा हैज़ टू बी क्लासिफाइड दैट कि दिस इज द लेजिटिमेट डेटा, एक्यूरेट डेटा और नॉट. लेजिटिमेसी के बाद सेकेंड थिंग आता है एक्यूरेसी का, कि इन गवर्नमेंट सिस्टम्स व्हाट हैपेंस कि senior officers sometimes like me, they will tell our juniors कि अभी भेजो अभी भेजो अभी भेजो. Now junior what he will do, he will say कि जो मन है सो लिखो यार, लिख के लेकिन भेज दो अभी ताकि ये शांत हो जाए, वरना कहेंगे कि तुमने भेजा नहीं. हम पूछे कितने विलेजेस अफेक्टेड हुए फ्लड से, तो उसके पास डाटा नहीं है, तो उसको अप्रॉक्सीमेटली पता है 15 हुए. अब वो कहेगा कि यार 15 या 20 में एक काम करो 17 लिख दो, 2 एक्स्ट्रा करके भेज दो, अगर पैसे आने होंगे तो हम, अगर 19 भी होंगे तो मैनेज कर लेंगे. तो एक्यूरेसी ऑफ डेटा नहीं है वहाँ पे. नाउ दैट एक्यूरेसी ऑफ डेटा इज द एसेंशियल पार्ट ऑफ बिग डेटा. डाटा विच इज नॉट एक्यूरेट, दैट इज नॉट पार्ट ऑफ बिग डेटा. द लास्ट थिंग, द second last thing is this, that whereas in urban transport literature these things are very important. And last is the value of data. आज की डेट में वैल्यू किस चीज़ की है? सपोज दैट जब the civilization started, or when modernism started or industrial revolution started, the value was of minerals. कोल का पैसा मिलता था कि आप ज़मीन से कोयला खोद के निकालते हैं तो कोयले का पैसा है, यूरेनियम का पैसा है, किसी रेत का पैसा है. नाउ टुडे द डेटा कैन बी कॉस्टली. एक डेटा की कीमत है. सपोज दैट आई विल गिव यू एग्जाम्पल. फॉर एग्जाम्पल देर इज़ ए चंडीगढ़ सिटी. चंडीगढ़ सिटी में द इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, जो बिजली गवर्नमेंट का इलेक्ट्रिसिटी डिपार्टमेंट है, इट इज़ हैविंग ए डेटा ऑफ दैट कि हाउ मैनी पीपल आर हैविंग कमर्शियल कनेक्शंस and how many people are having residential connection. Now the data which is having that these number of people with this address and phone number are having commercial connection, that data is very costly in comparison to how many stray dogs are in Chandigarh. Now the data of a stray dog is not costly. That is because there are not many people who want to purchase that data. But the commercial connection data, everyone wants. Any electric appliance seller may want to have that data. Any person who wants to address the commercial people may need that data. Okay, in one go I will be able to send this much of people my message or my SMS that we are giving this service. So one data becomes costly. Now, because of these things, the governance issues will come. So, for example, because I had to give it for smart parking. So, this is one of the use of AI or machine learning by that. It is one of the most simple things. For example, when you go to Chandigarh, suppose that today there is a weekend, and on the weekend you want to go and have a cup of coffee, or you just want to have pass ki achhi sham bite. Now you don't have any method to know that ki how much the Elante Mall parking is full. It is 70% full, 60% full, or 80% full. So you cannot know if the data of parking is available on your phone, maybe you change your decision that today, okay, I will not go to Elante Mall, I will go to Sector 17. Or even Sector 17 parking is full, then you may go to some another place. So this will reduce congestion in a long run. If you are having a smart parking, the data which is created by a parking lot is not being available to another person. Now, parking is normally taken by the people who are not very well conversant with the computer systems. But this thing can be applied. So, this has been successfully applied in foreign countries. Now, as per smart cities are developing, most probably we are going to have a smart parking in near future. So, now, what is the challenges in the governance? Now, first thing is the bias, because a machine learning or a machine will learn as per as its experience. And now, if the behavior of a person is not appropriate, not as per law, or it is something different, and that is not as per the law of the land, then it will develop a bias. The machine will learn something which is biased. Okay, so these biases are very important. Suppose that normally there is a stereotype in the society that girls do not drive responsibly. Okay, so this may happen because of this actually happens because of 2-3 things. First, when they are driving a scooty, someone is always there are people who are making comments or disturbing them, so they just want to go to their home very fast. Okay, so if you will make a driver restless, she is going to make some mistakes. Okay, now because of your behaviors as a society, as a behavior, you are disturbing a lady that she is not able to drive comfortably. Now, if the pattern of driving by a lady is identified by a driverless car, now driverless car is going to have a bias regarding a woman. Now that bias has originated because of the pathology of the society, but it will come into the artificial intelligence systems. Now this thing is going to cause a governance issue if the driverless car is adopting another approach towards women. Now, second, for example, this may lead to another things also. I have not discussed it here. For example, there are 2 driverless cars. Okay. Now, if there is an accident, okay, now 2 driverless cars collide into each other. Now the question is this, that which insurance company is going to pay to the person who is injured? Maybe in one car there was a person, in another car there was no person. Now since the both cars are driverless, how you are going to determine that which car has done the mistake? Now this is very critical question. Now it will need lot of experts to know this thing. So simple things like giving insurance to a person will become a governance issue in such situation. Now comes the actual governance issue, that is the data rights. What is the privacy? Because when there will be a driverless car, your every data will be captured in a system. Where you are going, with whom you are meeting, maybe you are an officer who has to restrict its movement, who doesn't want that कि आप किससे जाके मिलते हैं, लोगों को नहीं पता होना चाहिए, because you are working something for the state, for the national security. Now that all data will be exposed now there. Now how this privacy is going to be maintained, or the data collected by a private company or by the government company is not going to be misused. Which data is individual data, which data is social data, which data is public data? These are the questions which are going to come into the future, and these are going to be the governance issue. Now second thing is the neutrality. How the data This thing will come, this will come into on the head of the government only. Okay. How you are going to maintain a data neutrality. Okay. How you are going to act neutral in data collections and usage of the data, and how you will ensure this thing that the private players which are dealing with the data, they act neutral and they do not use it in the favor of their own private interests. So data usage, getting consents prior to using someone's personal data to engage with them in any way, this is violated every day. You search something on Facebook, tomorrow you will get it on Instagram. You search something on YouTube, it will come on your Facebook. So these things, because all the systems are linked with each other on this platform. And last is the intellectual property right of the data, which data is very personal, which cannot be given to some another person. Now the next governance systems which are going to evolve, most probably after 10-20 years we are going to have a ministry over this, that who is going to manage data, how which data can be sold at what price and all that. These are the challenges of the governance, and these governance challenges come mostly, it will start from urban mobility only, that I am going to tell you. So although I am not a big fan, but President said that artificial intelligence is the future, not only for Russia but for all humankind. It comes with colossal opportunities but also threats that are difficult to predict. Whoever becomes the leader in the sphere will become the ruler of the world. So thank you very much for patiently listening me. Thank you, sir.